Hey everybody, welcome back to Black Lotus, where we talk about all things strange and unusual. And today we are going to be diving into the Bermuda Triangle. Ba-dum-bum. I'll be here all week. So the Bermuda Triangle isn't the only triangle around, but we're going to be getting into some other ones as well. But before we do get into that, I do want to mention that we have a group over at Facebook, and it's called the Black Lotus Discussion Group. And if you're interested in the paranormal and all things weird and unusual, definitely come over there and join our group there. I think you're really going to enjoy it. We have cryptid experts and paranormal experts and ufologists there, as well as just everyday people that are really cool. We don't have any trolls there, and it's really a great group of people. Also want to remind you to please like and subscribe to our videos. If you are listening to our podcast over at Anchor, make sure you follow us over there. But anyway, let's get into this. So if you've been living under a rock, you probably don't know what the Bermuda Triangle is. And basically what it is it's an imaginary line that spans from San Juan, Puerto Rico, up to Miami, and then over to Bermuda. And altogether, as far as we know, there's been 75 planes and hundreds of ships that have gone missing there. And here are just a few examples, just three of them. In 1918, the USS Cyclops resulted in the largest non-combat loss of life in the U.S. Navy's history. The ship went down with a crew of 309 people. And I believe, when I was looking into this, and then there was one in 1945, the Flight 19. It was a group of 5 U.S. torpedo bombers, and they vanished. And then a rescue plane was sent out to search for them, and it vanished. Yeah. The latest one that has happened was in 2015, and it was the El Faro, and it was a cargo ship with 33 on board, and it went missing as well. And even the people that have gone out to search for these things can't find them. Right. So yeah, I've always found the Bermuda Triangle to be very fascinating, but there are a few other ones out there, right? Right.
There's a few all over the world. Probably the most famous one is the Devil's Sea, which is just south of Japan.
Right.
But they're all over the North Pole, the South Pole. There's one by Easter Island. Excuse me. So they are it's not like it's uncommon. There's 12 major areas.
And I heard that the one by Japan and in the Devil's Sea, is that what they call it?
The Devil's Sea, right.
I heard that they made it a government mandate that people are not allowed to fly over it or through it or sail through it.
Keeping people away.
Yeah, and I think that if we were to do this here in the States, if we were to mandate that people not sail through there or fly over it, it would really mess with a lot of business,
right.
Specifically like the cruise liners, right? You and I have both traveled through the Bermuda Triangle on cruises.
Maybe that's what's wrong with us.
Yeah, maybe. And when I did it, the last stop, we went down to the Eastern Caribbean. And the last stop we made was going to be on a privately owned island by Norwegian Cruises. And a few days before that, a storm had come through there and wiped out the port. Oh. So we, and again, this was in Bermuda, or not Bermuda,
Caribbean. Caribbean.
No, the other islands, the Bahamas. And so because it got wiped out, we couldn't port, and so we just laid anchor in the middle of the Bermuda Triangle. And we laid anchor, just hung out there for the day, in order to make up time, because it was a 7-day cruise,
Right.
So, but nothing happened to us, but
obviously.
But there are a lot of explanations behind this.
Oh,
and
yeah.
why it happens. And some of them I'm very skeptical about some of them, but the latest explanation are these like hexagonal clouds.
Yeah, I read about those. Very unusual.
Yeah, they create like 175 mile an hour wind bombs, and so that would explain the ship disappearances as well as the airplanes that go through there.
Right. Those clouds get enormous too. They get 20 to 55 miles across,
Yeah.
and up to 45 feet high.
That's crazy. And then that, along with rogue waves, is another explanation because if there are storms coming from the north and the south, and then one comes in from like Bermuda, I mean, it creates what they would call a perfect storm.
Right.
And so it would, and the place is known for its sudden storms that just suddenly pop up out of nowhere.
Well, and it's known for the waves. Even like we were talking about before, the hexagon clouds you were talking about, those actually create very big wave patterns that could also possibly be doing tipping over boats, etc.
Yeah, and then there's also the the magnetic forces that are there that are unlike other places in the world.
Right. There's certain areas in the world where magnetic north and true north are confused, and this is one of those areas where it flips and flops.
Right. So using a compass through there is virtually
Useless.
Yeah. And, I looked into this, but I couldn't find anything about this. I wondered about the cruise liners and the people that fly through there. I'm sure today they use GPS, and that wouldn't mess with it. But back when they were using compasses, I wonder if people bothered with it in that area because they get so wonky, you know. And so I wonder if they just went by the old mariner way of
using the
stars and that kind of thing, and then another explanation is the methane bubbles. Now, my personal belief is that it's a combination between those magnetic energies there and methane bubbles. And the bubbles are largely made of methane gas leaking from the deposits of oil and gas on the seafloor. And once these gases reach a critical mass, they rise to the surface, and they're so large that they could swallow a ship. I mean, like a naval ship, within seconds. So they wouldn't have any time for a distress call. And that's the case
straight down.
Yeah, and that's the case with most of these things, that there's no distress calls because they don't have time. And they just turn up missing, and when they were supposed to make port, they're not there, and people are like, "Oh, well, where the hell is it?" But I think this would also have a lot to do with the flights.
Well, yeah, because then the methane gas would basically just cause a suction and suck the plane right into the water.
Right. Or if nothing else, it would blast the air around the plane, and the plane would just tumble.
That's what they say happened with the hexagon clouds too, that it'll drop the 170 wind bombs, like they were saying, and actually knock the planes out of the sky.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that.
That's crazy, One of the more unbelievable ones, for me anyway, is that it's caused by aliens.
Yeah, alien abductions.
And they think that it's a hot spot for gathering people to test on them. And I believe in aliens. That I am an abductee myself. But here's my contention with this, and that's that. If aliens are abducting people all over the world, why would they use just this one spot?
Right. Or even if they used all 12 of them.
Right.
It still doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense. I don't really get it. It doesn't, and then Atlantis is another one.
Yeah.
Atlantis is they think that that's where Atlantis sank, and because of their fire crystals there in their technology, it's causing all this stuff to happen. It's causing compasses to be wonky and all that stuff, and then it's also causing disturbances on the surface of the ocean. So I don't know, but and then there's another one, and this seems very plausible to me.
Yeah, I'll have to agree.
And that is that there's no mystery at all. That it's just a natural phenomenon that's happening, and there's nothing to it. And the National Oceanography, I can't remember the name of the organization, Oceanic something or other. Anyway, they basically what they're saying is that it's just human error, and there are really, by way of percentage, there really isn't any more disappearances than there is in any other part of the ocean in the world. And the only reason it seems so is that it's such a busy chamberway.
Right. The more people that go through it, the more disappearances are going to happen.
Right.
Just because it's in a certain area where there's a lot of activity, it just seems to make it look like it's going to be a lot more people disappearing than there really is.
Yeah. And that makes a lot of sense to me. I don't think there's anything paranormal happening with the Bermuda Triangle or any of these triangles. I think it's just a natural phenomenon, and I think that the number that go missing in the Bermuda Triangle, it does make sense that it just seems so that it's higher there. But then again, there's a lot of other ports, here in the United States on both sides where there's a lot of traffic, and nothing is happening there.
Yeah, so, it's much rarer there. I don't know. I still have to say it's got to be some of this weather stuff we talked about.
I think that's what it is. It's a combination of everything. It's a combination between the traffic going through there and these weird weather phenomenons.
If it happens to happen right there.
Yeah. However, there is a new theory out there suggesting that the Devil's Triangle, the Bermuda Triangle, is actually possibly shifting north, so that the point where it's at in Miami, Florida, is actually shifting up more toward Georgia and South Carolina.
Oh.
And the reason they're saying that is because it's happening less and less. These disappearances or problems are happening less and less in the south, down toward Puerto Rico, and more up toward that area. So the scientists that have looked into this have said it's possible that the magnetic energies there have actually shifted on the bottom of the sea, which adds more credence to the idea that it is due to the magnetism.
Right.
So yeah.
Very interesting.
It really is. I think this subject has fascinated me ever since I first saw a thing about it on In Search Of when I was a kid with Leonard Nimoy,
Right.
And I've been fascinated by it ever since then, and I remember there was an old movie called The Devil's Triangle with Nick Nolte, I think, which was just hokey as hell.
I don't even know that one.
But yeah. But anyway, what else you got, man?
That's about it.
Legit, yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of different disappearances. Mm-hmm. But we can sit here all day and just talk about the individual disappearances. I'm more interested in why it's happening.
Right, me too. Yeah. I mean, the disappearances are something else. I mean, like I said, there's 75 planes and hundreds of ships, dating back to God knows when, we could go over that, but that would take forever to get through it all.
Exactly.
Now going back to lending some credence toward UFOs or aliens, people on cruise ships have reported seeing what they think are UFOs off the deck of a cruise ship, So, it very well could be. They think that the aliens use that area as a portal. Mm-hmm. And I can see that making more sense than, using it for an area where they abduct people.
Right. I have to agree.
Yeah. So, but anyway, what do you say we get out of here?
Sounds good.
All right. Hey, folks, thanks a lot for watching, and thanks a lot for listening on our podcast. And again, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, we keep thinking and question everything.